on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, along with Kristen. This is Flix Fix. It's been a while. We got a lot to talk about. Kristen, what's going on?
Hey, everybody. What's up?
So, we missed a few episodes of Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
You know, like, all of them.
Oh, well, no.
Except
No.
for the first two.
I was going to say, give us more credit than that. We reviewed a third of it, considering this was only 6 episodes. As I said before we started recording, I had notes for a couple of previous episodes and can't find them, and there's no way we're going to walk ourselves through the complete events of 4 episodes. So this is going to be a lot looser than what we've given you guys in the past. This is going to be more general thoughts, wrap-up type stuff, and you want to go 2/3 of a season to start off with, really, really short, and doesn't, to me, and I want to know what you think as well. It doesn't feel like it's over. Like, it feels like we got the bare beginning of a show.
Well, I always said at the beginning that this was going to be the how Falcon becomes Captain America, and that's what we got.
Yeah, and already, like, the same day they dropped the last episode, there's already all the media stir of Captain America 4, which is obviously going to be Falcon's version of Captain. Do we still call him Falcon? That's the thing.
I don't know. No, I think he's Captain America now.
Like, I mean, like us as fans. Like, when you say, "Oh yeah, Sam, Falcon." When Falcon became the Captain America, it's not like
Black Falcon.
Oh.
Hey, I don't call you Black Kid.
That's such a good line, and that was a good line in the way that a whole lot of other shows would go the other way. It's like, "Oh yeah, cool, you can call me that," and he's like, "No, that doesn't make sense. Like, I am the Falcon." It's really good. I know I have to actually take something back, because I think I kind of harped on that the last time we did talk about it. As far as all the racial identity stuff that they did throughout the show, I thought they handled it really well. With as far as him figuring out that picking up the shield wouldn't be as easy as he thought it would be, as far as him getting all the history from the older super soldier fella whose name has completely slipped my mind now.
Isaiah Bartlett.
Bartlett or Bradley?
Bradley.
Okay. See, as soon as you give me the first bit, I can sort of pick it up. I thought they handled it really well. And okay, yeah, I realize I'm sort of sitting outside of this type of conversation, but from the outside, I think they handled it really, really well. And not just, okay, who's going to be the next Cap, but what it means for Sam to be the next Cap, to that type of community, that kind of demographic, to get that representation that they didn't have before. I thought they did it really well. Because, I mean, Black Panther...
I agree. I enjoyed how we got there. And I enjoyed that it wasn't like a thing where he knew people were going to not be cool with it. And...
He had to learn what the problematic part of it was going to be and make that one of the things that he overcame. Like, he couldn't just sail under the banner of, well, I'm already an Avenger and I'm already associated with Cap, so sure, I'll just first of all, he gave the shield away, but when he decided the second time that he was going to pick it up and take up that mantle, he needed somebody to be like, have you read your history books, bud? Do you think it's going to be that easy? Do you think they're going to let you be Captain America? I thought it was really good, like, because even though he's on that side of the conversation, he was a little, I don't want to say naive, because it sounds like I'm being critical, but he did have to open up his eyes to, like, no, you're trying to be this, but you got to be you while being this. Mm-hmm. And I think to open up the Isaiah Bradley character, to expand, just in general, expand the mythos of all the different super soldiers that they've had, it served that purpose, but also, like, hey, go do what you're going to do, but this is what you can expect. Thought it was great. And I thought, with that being such the tone of the show and the tone of his, mission, his transformation into becoming Captain America, I think the fact that he got all of his armor and the new wings and the new suit from Wakanda tied into that so well. And it was really good. It makes me want to know even more what they're going to do with Black Panther now, because the Wakandan influence in the show was not something I was expecting.
Well, I mean, I didn't know that there would be some Wakandans show up either, but
Well, because I didn't. You don't really think of it because by the time they reveal Zemo in Civil War, the fact that he's the one that kills Black Panther's father is almost an afterthought. So you knew they were going to have Zemo. Zemo was not near as much of a character as I thought he was going to be in the show, especially with like some of the initial advertising and like the big press conferences, the big Comic-Cons back before COVID, when we were actually allowed to have like conventions and stuff like that, with him being the one on the screen, him donning the big purple mask thing that he wore like once.
Yeah, he did wear it like one time.
He basically, it was like in with his stuff that he left in one of his cars.
Yeah.
But no, I thought that was really cool. I thought tying in Wakanda was really cool. We talked a lot during WandaVision how they pulled a bunch of different elements from a bunch of different parts of the MCU. Like obviously, Darcy was from Thor, and Agent Wu was from Ant-Man, and Rambo was from Thing. You got the same thing here too. You got a little bit of Captain America. You got a little bit of Winter Soldier. Obviously, you got a little bit of Civil War. You got a little bit of
Made me realize that, like, I guess I had thought about it, what happened to Sharon Carter, but then they were like, oh, so this is what happened. She got fucking screwed.
She really did. And, like, you never really find that out. And the funny thing is there's already a small comparison being made to Spider-Man, because they imply that she was doing all this, like, underhanded shit in Rajmatur, I think, wherever the place where all the criminals were, where she was building
town,
her.
Yeah.
She was doing that over the 5-year time jump that everybody else was snapped. But somebody has gone through, what's it called? Endgame, when they've got all the digital screens up of all the people that have been snapped or whatever, and she is in one of the frames, like way, way, way in the back of the shot. And everybody already is saying, yeah, Marvel's going to wave that away like they waved away the bad time jump in Spider-Man. I really, like, as soon as they introduced her, and as soon as they started talking about this mythical person, this power broker character, which I couldn't...
called that she was the power broker.
I didn't.
Episode.
I was like, okay, we're going to find out that the power broker is actually Zemo. We're going to find out the power broker is actually Thunderbolt Ross, because a lot of this was building to Thunderbolts. It's going to be some other... It's going to be the friggin' chick that they introduced right at the end that's played by Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and I didn't realize watching the episode that it was Elaine from Seinfeld, and that popped me huge. I'm like, it's going to be any of those people. I'm like, I want them to play up this thing where everybody thinks it's Carter, and then she redeems herself at the end, and it's like, no, she's just the new villain. And apparently the people involved in the writing of the show have already gone as far as to say she's the dark version of Nick Fury. So it might be her putting the Thunderbolts team together, or at least gathering the team for Thunderbolt Ross, which is a little weird.
I don't know about all that, but I did call that she was the power broker, because all the episodes are named specifically. Like the first episode is named A New World Order, and it's talking about how the world is now.
Yeah.
And the second episode is The Star Spangled Man, and it's bringing in John Walker as Captain America. Third episode's named The Power Broker. They bring her in.
Yeah, I guess that's
true. She's the power broker.
You know what it is I don't think of the names of the episodes until I'm putting it in the title of the YouTube video or of the podcast. So I hadn't been paying. I mean, obviously you knew the last one was going to be one world, one people, which was the motto of the Flag Smashers. The Flag Smashers ultimately really weren't much of a thing in this. As much as they were the ones going around, fucking shit up and like, hey, we're gonna blow some shit up till you pay attention to us and not do what you're doing and everything. And it is another one of the cases of, oh, we need to educate the people in power because they either don't know or don't care who they're hurting and all that sort of thing. I did say a while ago, back when we were talking about what was it? Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. It's like you can't properly address the ramifications of deleting half the planet and then bringing them back and thinking it's all going to be okay. I think this is the closest they've come to trying to, like, that's a huge concept. And I think this show is the closest they've come so far to even trying to address that. And I think it makes it very real. It makes it very like, oh, you're talking about like literally herding people into like camps and sanctuaries and shelters and all that, and making it a very real world thing as opposed to, hey, people just magically showed up again, because we did that in WandaVision when we saw Rambeau sort of come back together from the dust and the ashes. But they get blown up at the end. I thought the Flag Smashers were going to be a much bigger, like, I thought it was going to be like an entity going forward, or at least the redheaded.
It still might be.
Was she with the rest of the van when they got blown up at the end?
No, she died.
She died. Yeah, she died.
At least that's what Falcon says in the interview, is that girl died for this.
Oh, right, because he carries her out at the end, and before he has his big speech. Now, I will say, his speech at the end of the last episode is great. And it's all the messaging that we talked about at the beginning of the pod about the, like, hey, you gotta think differently about who your heroes are going to be. You gotta think differently about who you're affecting and how you treat these people that are having these struggles and all that kind of thing, and trying to empower people. It was all good. I agree with all the message. I will say, if I'm going to be super nitpicky, it was a little podium and a little bit long. But that's
I mean, nobody gave him the mantle of Captain America.
He took it.
Cap himself. And so he's got to be like, I'm this. As opposed to, they were like, nobody's going to let you be Captain America. You think they're going to let you be Captain America? He's like, nobody, I'm just going to fucking be Captain America.
Well, this is the thing, and this is where you get into, like, theological conversations about the Captain America moniker, because they treat it in the beginning like something that can just be reassigned. We lost the boss at this particular job. Somebody else is going to get a promotion, and the company will carry on, right? But nobody deemed Steve Rogers Captain America. So if the very first one wasn't chosen like that, or conscripted, or whatever you want to say, you can't choose or hire or conscript his replacement.
Well, that was the whole point of. That's why people were rating it so low and were losing their shit. I say people. You saw articles talking about how a bunch of people were upset that John Walker, that they're like, how could he be the new Captain America? And you're like, that's the point. Whole point.
That's the whole point. The actor got death threats, eh?
Yeah.
Because he was ruining the Captain America. And it's like, no, his whole purpose of being is the fact.
That's the point.
Is the fact that he's the shitty Captain America. I do like, though, before he went, like, extra crazy, in the beginning, like, they play off, how can I say this? He was happy to take the mantle. We saw him with his partner and his buddy, and he thought he was going to take up the thing and do a good job. And he's not a bad guy in the beginning. He's got all the right credentials, and he's got all the things that would make a good soldier.
From the comics, they talk about the creation of his character, U.S. Agent.
Oh, God, yeah.
How he's the opposite of Steve Rogers in every way.
Yeah,
Steve Rogers
he never had to have a
poor,
super soldier serum.
Was a poor northern guy. This guy was like upper middle class, southern white boy. Steve Rogers was, basically had to beg to join the army, and they wouldn't let him in. Whereas this guy is
that's the thing,
personifying
the symbolism of, hey, here's this guy that would make a perfect soldier, and the whole reason for Steve Rogers we've talked to death how I feel about the Steve Rogers character, but I'm putting that aside. Everything that made Steve Rogers the perfect Captain America is that he was nothing that went into the ideal soldier.
Yeah.
And I do like, before he went off the heels and went crazy, you did see sort of a good guy, sort of trying to do his version of Steve Rogers, struggling with like what the mantle meant, and then tipped over right into like absolute crazy town, and then decided to take the super soldier serum because drugs.
I like how when it comes to the super soldier serum, every time we figure out what it is again, nobody bothers to, open up a Word document, put it into PDF.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Well, even the guy that was tasked with recreating it got killed eventually in that big, huge
that's what I'm
scene.
saying.
Yeah.
I'm like, he knew what the super soldier serum was for a while, and he didn't write it down.
Well, he had made himself a little like lab in that underground underworld the ocean containers were. So, but to your point, like they do have to go. Like if the next guy that discovers how the super soldier serum works and they do one experiment, they're gonna have to destroy him and his lab and every computer in his house and everything to justify the oh my god, we have to figure out the super soldier serum again thing.
Well, I mean, they if you've seen, which you haven't, if you look into comics, there are a lot of heroes that were like the beginning of creating that hero was, so we were trying to make the super soldier serum, and it goes horribly awry. I mean, that's the whole concept of Hulk, the Incredible Hulk, was that they were trying to make a super soldier serum.
And I mean, they did at least 10 because Wolverine was Experiment 10 or Weapon X.
Yeah.
What's his name? The kid in Logan is X-23, and then the exact Logan clone is X-24. So at that point, it's just like we're not creating super soldiers anymore. We're just trying to get what we had with Wolverine. But I don't know. It does. We did this in the last pod. It does open up a whole like I want a show or I want an episode of a show where just all the different like iterations of the super soldier serum get together. Like you'd have. Well, you wouldn't have Captain America anymore because he's like super old man now. But you'd have maybe Isaiah Bradley and U.S. Agent and Bucky and Abomination and Hulk, and by that time we might have at least
a cameo
at least Wolverine, if not
about.
Weapon X, like super old Hugh Jackman or something. But there's just
a cameo that you may not know about.
In which?
In this show,
Okay.
the grandson of Isaiah Bartlett becomes
Bradley?
like, yeah, sorry.
I know he becomes something.
Of Isaiah Bradley becomes like the Young Avengers version of Captain America.
Nice. And the guy that's working as Falcon's tech at the beginning of the episode apparently goes on to become the new Falcon. Because before he gets his new wings from Wakanda, which are vibranium and awesome, he leaves his old busted wings behind because what's his name? Walker rips the wings off. That's one of the first like huge things he does. Let's not skip over the what do you call it? The cliffhanger moment from like 3 episodes ago where he does go into like a super soldier serum version of a roid rage and absolutely destroys one of the flag smashers in front of everybody.
He basically like almost decapitates him with
the shield.
The
It becomes a really bad PR moment for them.
This is not Captain America photo of him standing over this guy with blood splatter on the shield.
See, I will say that was cool. I will say in the very next episode when they're having the fight, because the Falcon and Winter Soldier versus the new Captain America, it was that 2-on-1 fight and they're all using the shield. It was very much the end fight from Civil War. It's different dynamics and people on different sides, but it was very much the Winter Soldier, Captain America, Iron Man fight, where they're just like trading the shield back and forth. Maybe even a little bit better than that fight scene because we've come a little bit farther away. They did, and this is just strictly a cinematography thing. So again, I'm nitpicking incredibly. They know they had a really cool symbolic thing. Look at this big, brightly colored shield that represents everything that Captain America is supposed to be, and oh my god, there's so much blood on it. How sad is that? The amount of times that they paused and hovered on that in the middle of the fight at the beginning of that next episode was a little annoying. I know what they were trying to do, and I get what they were trying to do, and I agree with what they were trying to do, but they did it a little too much. To do it a couple of times and then get on with the fight would have been better.
I guess I didn't notice.
Yeah, as I say, I have to admit it up front. I'm nitpicking to like the nth degree, but that ending cliffhanger into the beginning fight of the next episode was pretty awesome. We should talk about Winter Soldier, though.
Yeah.
Winter Soldier has, I don't want to say the better storyline, but like I'm definitely not the main character, but my character is still awesome storyline, because with WandaVision, they were able to do this really cool metaphorical thing about grief and recovery and all that sort of thing. There's not even a metaphor here. The entire 6 episodes has been him dealing with the PTSD of being the Winter Soldier. And between the time that he had with the therapist, the time that he had trying to make amends with people, and the struggle that he has with his neighbor because he knows he killed his kid back when he was the Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier, when he was activated.
I think, and like there was a lot of anti. I hate the term, but it's what we use, so I'm going to say it. There's a whole lot of anti-toxic masculinity stuff in here. Like whenever you got Falcon and Winter Soldier talking, and especially when they're training with the Shield and whatnot, he's like, you need to heal, other people need to heal, and he's walking them through the steps of like reparations to the people that he's hurt.
I don't know that has anything to do with toxic masculinity.
Well, the idea that big bad macho guys don't talk about their feelings, they don't talk about their traumas, they don't talk about what they're struggling with because they have to, like that kind of idea. Because you think about superheroes, you think about kick-ass big guys
That's
out
true.
there, out there fighting. So
I'll allow it.
So to take a moment out of the show, like at a good long bit of the end of that episode where he's doing the training montage with the Shield.
Which, by the way, when he was doing the training montage with the Shield, they never addressed how many times when he missed the Shield. Did it hit his house at all? How many times do you have to fix shit in the house?
Well, how many times do you think he cut down a tree before they realized they had to put pads on the trees? I do think it's cool though, because on the one hand he's helping Bucky with life and with all this, as I say, I don't have any other way of saying it, but all of his PTSD and all of his grief and all of his guilt about what he did when he was the Winter Soldier. He's walking him through that. But you got to imagine Bucky spent more time with Cap and more time with that Shield. So he's teaching, one of them is healing the other one, and the other one is helping him become what he needs to be as well. So he's getting therapy. He's getting the training that he needs with the weapon that he needs to be the new Captain America. I think there's a very cool sharing, growing.
I think Falcon and Winter Soldier have a good dynamic too.
I think they do, and even on the best of times.
I think it was better than the one with Steve, because Steve was very cut laced and everything, very tight laced and everything.
He was, but at the same time,
Falcon's way more sarcastic.
Neither one of them had any grief to share with Captain America. The two of them together have the grief to share of losing their friend.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like we said, I said it before, Iron Man hangs heavy over the last Spider-Man movie. The whole movie feels like a big funeral for Iron Man. This show, while it's developing these characters that are in the forefront of the show, it is kind of a funeral for Captain America as well, or at least the idea, or
I was about to say, have we determined that Steve Rogers is actually dead, or is he just an old dude and we're not talking about him anymore?
And I have to imagine that this is a joke between the writers of the show and the audience. They joked way too many times that he's just up there on the moon chilling. What was that about? Unless he's on this.
I actually know this.
Unless he's on the sword station with.
No, they So I don't know that that's actually going to lead to anywhere. What they did was in between scenes or shots or whatever, when everybody was just sitting around and chit chatting and everything, they were talking about how conspiracy theories and how they kind of evolve and whatever, just kind of bullshitting about that.
Yeah.
And they decided that, okay, so if Captain America all of a sudden disappears, because we don't know why, because I guess the normal public wouldn't know why Steve Rogers was all of a sudden gone.
Well, I think it's meant to be that he disappears into the past, and then I think they let the general public believe that he died in the battle at Endgame. That's the feeling I get.
People would make up start making conspiracies about what happened to him, and so they, as a cast, would be like, "Well, what conspiracy theories?" And those are all and the ones that pop up in the show are the ones that they all bullshitted about in between shots.
Yeah, but at this point, like, I don't think we need a story for what happened to him. But like,
Oh no, it's not supposed to be what actually happened to him.
Because like it's one of those, they didn't just kill him, they like sent him back in time and told us a definite story that he lived an entire life, and he's like 105 now in like 20, what is MCU in general is in 2023 now.
Yeah.
So I don't even know, I don't know why they would harp on the like, oh, what happened to Captain America. Like, you put something like that in a show or a movie, and you think that they're going to pay it off, even if it's just with some joke later on down the line. And if he just...
Well, yes, but the public doesn't know that he's like an old guy now. The last time they saw him, he was like a young dude.
Well, this is what I'm saying, though. Like, they would have seen the heroes at some point. Like, they know, even though it didn't help him get a bank loan, like, he walked into the bank and he's like, aren't you an Avenger? Can I get a selfie? Like, these people didn't fade into nothingness, other than, obviously, the ones that died, which, you know, we don't have Tony anymore. We don't have Black Widow anymore. We don't have, who else died? Oh, friggin' Steve didn't die. He just got super old. But, like, the rest of them didn't go into hiding. Like, Spider-Man is still a thing. I don't know. Unless they're going to do some weird thing, and we're going to get some post-credit scene at the end of some innocuous movie, and it's just going to be Steve Rogers coming back to Earth with some, like, super obvious, hey, this is my moon rocket, and how's everybody doing? I don't know. I know it's a throwaway joke, but it feels like something that could be something, and Marvel's very awesome but also annoying at that. Because if it is nothing, all the people that are flipping out right now trying to figure out what it is are going to be pissed.
No, then they'll be pissed.
This is true. I do, and I think I said this way back when we did, like, hey, what's coming up in 2021 preview thing. I made the joke that he shouldn't be called Falcon anymore, which he's not, and Bucky shouldn't be called Winter Soldier anymore because that was his assassin nickname. I said eventually the show should be called Captain America and the White Wolf. We're halfway there because of the stinger at the end.
Yeah.
I don't think
Bucky's gonna take up a name. I think he's just like whatever.
But the fact that they brought the Wakandans back in, and they were referring to him as the White Wolf, I think the only thing missing, because he is, like I say, we did the whole backstory with the guilt and the PTSD and how to get over that and whatever. All that comes from the Winter Soldier, and he's not the Winter Soldier anymore. I want to see him pick up that mantle. I know it doesn't change the story at all. I know it doesn't really change who he is at all.
I was about to say, he doesn't seem like a guy who would take up a name. You might get one at some point, and they're like, whatever, okay, he's called that.
Yeah, I don't think he would go out of the blue and just call himself something just for the sake of not being the Winter Soldier anymore. But these are obviously, like, the people in Wakanda are obviously people that he respects, and if they bestow that name
and I guess
on
they
him,
kicked him out of Wakanda now.
Well, for a little bit, yeah, well, because
for letting Zemo.
Well, this is the thing, like, he let Zemo go, and this is where I was
like, here's my question, though.
What's that?
The Wakandans took Zemo. He,
Yeah.
caught Zemo and was gonna, quote, kill him, but,
Yeah.
It's a showing of how he's not that guy anymore.
Right.
And the Wakandans, flew off with Zemo, and yet then at the end of the show, he's on the raft.
Because I don't think they wanted to kill him. I don't think they're being portrayed as like a vengeful culture. Their piss off with him isn't that he didn't kill Zemo. It was, why would you let him out? Like, he's serving his like just punishment in whatever prison you pulled him out of. Why would you take him away from that? So I don't think they were there for revenge. I think they were there to restore the justice that they thought was already happening. Like, if they took him away or took him back to Wakanda and killed him, that makes the Wakandans, like, it takes them from being heroes to being sort of justified anti-heroes. You know what I mean? And
All I know is that the scene when the Wakandans show up,
yeah,
and John Walker goes to talk to them, I'm like, oh, he doesn't understand who he's talking to. White boy's about to get his ass kicked.
The whole, like, as soon as they step in, like, before even the first fight has been, or the first punch has been thrown, when he says something really sarcastic to one of them, and my inner monologue was like, and this is when John Walker knew he had really fucked up.
Yes.
Freeze frame. I bet you're wondering how I got here.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, and that's the other thing too. Like, as much as I'm saying the inclusion of the Wakanda portion of the story was cool, they didn't oversaturate it. They came in, they had their part, they left. Like Zemo's character came in, sort of had his part, and left. The banter between Zemo, Falcon, and Winter Soldier was always great.
Zemo ended up winning. At
the
end, anyways, because all of the super soldiers, minus I guess Bucky and John Walker, are dead.
Yes.
Because that old guy that blows up the other group of super soldiers is Zemo's like butler guy.
Yeah. Well, there's a weird, like, I know his thing is he wants to destroy all the super soldiers, right? But I don't think it's ever really underlined. Like, does he know that Walker took the super soldier serum as well, or
probably doesn't?
He's already been taken off to the raft at that point. And as far as Bucky, like, there's a weird sort of like almost honor among thieves level of respect that he shows Bucky. Bucky doesn't return it, obviously, because he's goating him on. And he's like, all right, well, we're here. I guess you brought me here to kill me. I guess, like, just get it over with type thing. Like, he didn't even try anymore. So I think, in an adversarial way, I think he has respect for Bucky. And the way they...
Also, are we neglecting the fact that the Wakandans just knew how to take Bucky? I know they knew how, because they all...
Oh, the release on the arm.
The release on the arm, and they're like, what? And nobody's like, what the fuck else did they build on this arm? There's a lot of theories going around that, like, when she did that, she weakened his arm purposely.
That was hilarious,
that's why
though.
He couldn't punch through the thing that had the door locked in the last episode, or it took him a couple tries.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. I thought it broke up the intensity of the fight a little bit, but it was hilarious.
It was hilarious that his arm just like falls off.
But if you think about that, you're like, it works because it's a superhero movie and there's basically no rules, right? Only in the Marvel universe is it like, okay, an amputee just lost his prosthetic. Isn't that hilarious? Like, you take one step away from it, and it's kind of really bad. But you step back into the story, and it's totally fine. I don't know. I thought the best thing about his arm had nothing to do with Wakanda. It was when he
went to tighten the bolt.
When he went to tighten the bolt,
right
and he's like, I thought you'd use your metal arm. Like, what's the deal? Well, I don't always think of it, you know, and I'm right-handed. I'm like, that is such a, like, not even a joke. That is such, like, an honest answer that's just, like, yeah.
Yeah, he could have just reached over with his left hand and...
It was a little gratuitous that every time he put on a jacket, he had to rip off the sleeve to show his one arm. I'm like...
I think he finally just kept that leather jacket without the sleeve on it.
Yeah, but there's more than one point where it's just like, you just ruined a good jacket. But no, a lot of the dialogue...
I like the part where where Bucky hangs out with the community that's putting together the boat.
Yeah.
Putting together all the parts for the boat. I love the part where he hits on his sister, and Sam's like, don't do that.
Yeah. I mean, that's and this is where I was going to say a minute ago, even when they're getting along, even when they're doing good shit together, they still have that same element that they had in, what movie was it? I think it was Civil War, when Cap...
he's asking him, can you move up? No.
Yeah, and when they're stuck in the back of Cap's car. Like, they still have that, like, you're my buddy, you're my partner, we work together, it's great, you're awesome, I'm awesome, but I still kind of hate you a little bit.
Yes.
And it's very buddy cop. Like, for as much serious stuff as they handle in this show, both, like, on the personal levels of each of the characters and... Like we said at the beginning, some of the, like, real world issues that they tap onto, like, this is a weird buddy cop comedy movie, like comedy action movie. And not to beat a dead horse, it was the perfect balance for WandaVision, where everything is like a little bit mystical, a little bit magical, a little bit dimensional,
A little bit fucked up.
a little bit, well, a lot fucked up. But like this was so grounded in comparison that it was the perfect balance. And to have this in the middle when we know the next one is going to be Loki, where we're sort of getting back into that, time travel and dimensions and magic.
Do you know when Loki's coming out?
Apparently not till June.
Okay.
Which is...
So we have a big gap between then.
Yeah, we do have some other things to talk about that we're going to fill that gap with. I think they're doing a couple more Star Wars things on Disney Plus. I don't really care to review the Star Wars shows. I like Mandalorian, but I don't care.
As the resident Star Wars nerd, yet to see Mandalorian.
Ah.
I tried to watch the first couple episodes, and it just didn't grab me. It was also at a point where it was pretty early on in Disney Plus, so the app was still kind of fucked up. So I was still I was frustrated with that.
I will say, not to stray us too far off the point, it is very episodic. Like beginning of the show starts an issue, end of the show ends an issue. In the first season, the second season gets more into a continuous story. I like it. Like I say, I don't sink my teeth into it like I sink my teeth into Marvel. So I had no draw to review it, obviously, which you know, because I didn't ask you, hey, do you want to review The Mandalorian? Mm-hmm. But we will be, and we're going to get back on to Falcon and the Winter Soldier in a second, guys. I'm sorry. We will be doing something with Godzilla vs. Kong. We're going to get Kristen and Travis on here to talk about Godzilla vs. Kong. That's just been pushed back by a little bit. As far as I know, we're still planning on doing the Unbreakable Split Glass trilogy at some point.
Some point, yep.
So the fact that there's not going to be anything on Disney Plus for us to review for a couple of weeks could be a good thing. And like I say, it took us four weeks to get back on and do this. So
Travis's birthday was one weekend.
Well, Travis's birthday was one weekend. Let's be real. I took WrestleMania weekend off because WrestleMania, and then before that it was like the
Not
down.
to put a review in another review, but overall, how was WrestleMania? As somebody that didn't watch it.
I mean, the star of the show is the crowd. Like, that's really all I can say. There's things that happened that I loved. There's things that happened on the show that I didn't like so much. But like, even the stuff that I didn't like or didn't agree with, it didn't matter.
Was there social distancing in the crowd, or did they just shove everybody in it?
I mean, the cameras did
I was just curious.
The cameras did a really good job of finding people that weren't wearing masks, and people were crammed in. People were crammed in pretty tight.
Yeah, well.
It is what it is. I don't know.
I was just curious if they only sold every other seat, or.
Oh no, I think they're doing a similar thing to what AEW does on the weekly shows. I think they're just selling tickets in pods, and then just sticking another pod next to another pod next to another pod. I will say it was a long-ass week because Monday was Raw, Tuesday was the Hall of Fame, Wednesday and Thursday were a two-night takeover, Friday was SmackDown, Saturday...
I saw Kane's Hall of Fame speech.
It was really good.
Parts of it.
It was really good. Hulk Hogan and Titus O'Neil hosted WrestleMania. Hogan got booed out of the building even though he was dressed as a pirate, so there was that. I mean... I got nothing.
Hulkamania is finally over.
I mean, sure. That's another.
If you're enough of a shithead, even wrestling fans will turn on you.
Sometimes. Oh, you must have heard about the people that have been fired in the past week or so from WWE.
It was there was a couple people that not to make this a wrestling podcast.
Yeah,
but,
what are we gonna?
There was a couple people I was a little shocked by, but most of them I was like, yeah, I get that.
Well, the thing is, and you don't want to break up
Every time they try to pump on the gas with Samoa Joe, he gets injured.
Yeah, well, the thing was, Samoa Joe was doing commentary, and he was really pressing them to wrestle again. But, the loss of Samoa Joe, the loss of the Iconics, the loss of Mickey James...
Yeah, that one was surprising to me, the Iconics.
And a couple of other people that hadn't been on TV in forever. The big story...
It's almost like they shouldn't have broken them up, and they would be fucking relevant.
That's okay. We've got better women's tag team champions in NXT. My girl Shotzi Blackheart, along with Ember Moon. No, the shitty story is the Mickie James story this week, that she had all her leftover belongings that were still in the WWE building sent to her address in a garbage bag.
Yeah, I saw. I've seen the headlines, but I hadn't actually read the story.
That is the
James
story.
Would learn by now that WWE is just going to be shit to her.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 10 years ago they fired her for apparently being fat. So.
Yeah.
And I mean, Mickie James ain't fat. Like.
Again, you would think Mickie James would be like, oh yeah, they're gonna be shit to me constantly.
Anyways, back to Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Back to non-wrestling stuff.
Yeah. So I know.
I heard, and granted, we checked earlier. I saw the headline, so grain of salt.
Yeah.
Of one article saying like it's the lowest rating on Rotten Tomatoes out of all. It's like one of the lowest ratings, and they said it was like a 50.
It was 57, I think.
7. It's up to like 87 or now, I think.
I will say, like, and I'll put my objective hat on for a second, because I liked the show. The final episode.
I love the show.
I don't know, and even right up to the last episode was good. I don't know what I was expecting from the last episode, but I know I didn't quite get it. Like, the fight just continued from the previous episode, and then they had the fight, and then he had his speech, and I guess they sort of had like they had kind of a Return of the King type ending, where it's like, okay, the fight is already over, the big speech has been made, he's already been revealed as the new Captain America, now let's go see him go home, now let's go see the letter that Bucky left his therapist, let's go see, Carter getting her clearance, and then finding out that she's really the bad guy, let's see Elaine from Seinfeld giving U.S. Agent his new costume, like,
Which is basically his old costume, but
in black.
Which is how it looks in the comics, to be.
We should say one of the more.
I also felt. Can we talk about costumes real quick?
Yes.
I thought the transition from Falcon, or I guess Falcon's Captain America costume from the comics.
Yes.
To the real screen, to the real world.
Yeah.
Made a really good transition, because sometimes the comic book costumes can be real cheesy.
I don't know why, because there was nothing in the shows that would have led me to believe this at all. When they said he was getting a new suit, and we had the implication that it was going to be like Wakanda tech, I thought it was going to be more robotic. Like, and I'm not one of the people here that thinks everybody needs to look the same, everybody needs to have the same costume or whatever. I thought there was going to be a little bit more mechanism within the suit itself. I don't know why I thought that, but, because, like, Black Panther has the whole suit that's made out of vibranium and whatever, and he's got, like, the nano things that come out of his necklace and all that sort of thing. It's not something you, like, mechanically have to put on. I don't know. I thought we were going to be getting, like, Iron Man with wings, which is definitely not what we got, and I'm okay with that. But I don't know where I must have planted it in my own head. I will say, the way the shield sits on the back of that wing mechanism makes no sense. Like, at all. The way the shield sits on the back of his wing setup would not allow the wings to move, and it made it look hysterical when he was flying around with the shield on his back. But I'm okay with that, because it's a superhero movie, and we're just allowed to do
If
these
you look
things.
in chat, that's the what it looked like in the comic. And granted, the wing part of Falcon's suit in the comics and in the show is different.
It looks like it's coming out of his arms.
His wings are usually attached to his arm.
Yeah.
So that he could use them more as weapons, I guess. Whereas the one in the MCU, like.
Yeah, but they've made a lot of practical decisions like that, though. Like, the Vulture in Spider-Man is supposed to be like an actual like vulture creature, whatever, and it's like no, he just used alien tech to make himself a wingsuit. Like they have taken the things from the comics that would have been a little bit goofy and tried to like make practical reasons for them. So a change like that, I don't mind, like in the slightest.
And
I
then
really.
let me look at the Anthony Mackie Captain America. Oh, actually, I'm gonna give you this one because this is the hokiest that it looks. I think. Hang on. I also like that because the wings are vibranium, he could use the wings as a shield.
But see, like everybody acted like that was new, but he has done that before. Like he does use that in his fighting style. He did it back
but
in.
He can use it more
Yeah,
now because
he was basically
vibranium.
able to use it to shield himself and somebody else when a car landed on them.
Mm-hmm.
But
this is the hokiest that I think it looks.
Oh dear. This is awesome
shot.
for people who are listening to this in audio.
Well, I'm sorry. Just look
right.
up.
He does look like a little like in that thing, and for people listening, it's the scene where we get the first reveal for the first time, and he's just come through the window, and he's about ready to fight. He does look a little bit in those first couple of seconds, and it changes throughout the fight, obviously. He does look like a kid in his first puffy winter jacket.
Yes, this is the hokiest that the suit looks.
Yeah.
Right here is this still shot.
Yes.
The rest of the time looks awesome. It looks like, a modified version of Steve Rogers' suit.
Yeah. Well, it looks like a modified version of his stuff.
Yes.
But
well, I
yeah,
mean the suit part itself, like if you put
Yeah.
his next to the Steve Rogers suit, other than the coloration, it looks very similar to Steve Rogers' suit.
Which is funny because as you got to the later and later stages of Captain America, especially through Infinity War and Endgame, they had made him such a gritty, serious character that his costume had gotten like darker and darker and darker, and the light blue became dark blue, the dark blue became almost black, and now he's back to like, and I know there's heavy.
I will say though, if you make me pick between the two, I like Falcon's original suit.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I don't like this one.
He does look like here I am posing for my action figure shot.
Yeah.
A little bit. And I mean, you're going to get that. Somebody with a brand new look or a brand new whatever, they're going to do as much as they can to make it pop.
Oh, here we go. I found one with the Steve Rogers right next to him. This is great for an audio.
This is great audio.
Podcast.
This
Look
is
at all
fantastic.
these pictures that you
can't see.
I literally, if you want to know what I'm talking about, literally I typed in Falcon Captain America suit. And
But
it's
see, like
all the pictures I've given you are on the first line.
There you go. But see, like even Captain America's suit there and what you just sent me, which people can't see, is not as bright and shiny as.
Oh no, it's not. This one has way more white on it.
Yeah. But no, like I think it's good, and I think they're gonna take like by the time we see him in what is going to be, I guess, the next Captain America movie, I think they're gonna tone down the puffy winter jacketness of it, because I mean everybody changes over time. Like look at Tony coming out of the cave with a bunch of scraps versus nanobot Tony that we saw right before he died, like night and day, literally, right? So here's the thing, though, right? He's the new Captain America. When he gets a movie, it's going to be his first movie, right? Is there going to be some stupid debate on Twitter whether we call this Captain America 1 or Captain America 4?
I hope not.
Because really, there's only 2 Captain America movies. Really, there's only 2.
No, there's 3 Captain America movies.
Civil War's an Avengers movie. But,
No, it's about him. He's the main character.
Tony's parents died. That's sad.
So, he's still the main character.
It's sad.
We follow him, mostly.
It's sad. Very sad. My boy Tony. And then he died. Now he's with his parents, I guess. I don't know.
Well, that went dark, but okay.
Well, you want to think about that as a thing. One upside of dying is you get to be with the loved ones that you've lost. You get to be reunited. You can do all that symbolism shit. I'm not trying to make it a negative thing, but... Anyways... So let's talk a little bit brighter, a little bit happier. How many other things can we look forward to off the back of this show? I'm still saying I'm looking forward to Armor Wars. I mean, the one cameo from Rhodey in the first episode was enough to make me look forward to Armor Wars. because that's just going to be people in robot suits beating the hell out of it. It's going to be Pacific Rim, but if Pacific Rim was made by Marvel. What do you want to see next? What do you want to see next? Like, I know we have, like, right coming up next is Loki, but what are you looking forward to next in the MCU in general?
I don't know. Like I said, the MCU has yet to fail me, with the exception of, well, no, that's not in the MCU.
What were you going to say?
Iron Fist, of course.
That's part of the MCU. If he shows up in Shang-Chi, are you going to be upset? If it's the same version
of him shows up in Shang-Chi, I'm going to be upset.
Have you seen the proper trailer for it?
I have not.
Okay.
But I'm going to.
I was going to say I should because we've already done, hey, look at this photo on a podcast. Let's get your live.
We've done that before where I've watched the end credit scene. I guess this did have an end credit scene. It was the part where we're like, yeah, Sharon Carter is the power broker, which I already knew.
Well, this is the thing though, and this is where I sort of made my I know in a certain sense we have to like wrap up all the loose ends after the big fight has happened and all that. But like it had the, you know, Return of the King 27 endings thing, because we had to have the barbecue on the boat because, you know, Sam and his sister were able to save the boat, and isn't that wonderful? And they got to party with the rest of the community that had helped them the whole time. I do think that last time we did a podcast, we were like talking a lot about, you know, Sam and his problems with his sister and how they were struggling together and whatever, and like that was going to be a string throughout the rest of the show. And I feel like right after we had that conversation, they basically touched on his sister for like the rest. Like they had a phone call, or, you know, Bucky saw like his nephews fighting with the Shield and just had like a cute moment. It feels like they did that at the beginning, and then we have this celebration at the end, and they just barely skimmed across it over the rest of the show. So I don't know whether they'll do more with that or not. Do you know are Sam's nephews future MCU
I don't believe
characters?
So, no.
Because seeing the two of them fight with the Shield was kind of cool.
Well, I think that was supposed to be a, like, crystallizing, like, you know, black kids can idolize Captain America, even though he's not black, kind of, like, moment, I guess, Bucky decided to have for whatever reason.
Yeah, no, it is cool. And see, what's gonna bug me about that, because is an amazing positive message, right? But like, it's not a secret to the world who most of the superheroes are. So why couldn't people idolize Falcon, or why couldn't they idolize, you know, War Machine, or whatever? Like, why does it take him becoming Captain America to all of a sudden be like, oh, I'll pay attention to him now? I think that's a weird.
Well,
I get what they're doing.
I think a lot of people do, because I mean, he walks through that neighborhood and people know who he is. Although, granted, they call him the Black Falcon, and he's like,
no,
it's just Falcon.
He like fixes that right away, and doesn't like what's his name?
I'll call you Black Kid.
Bradley, Isaiah Bradley even calls him like Black Captain America, or one of the reporters, and I would have to go back and say it again, and I want to be careful how I say this because I don't want to sound like I'm making a joke out of it, because I think one of the reporters calls him Blackton America, and I'm like, that's almost mockery, and that's not cool. I do think, however, sorry, I can't believe I forgot about this, the one cool closing moment that he had with Bradley was taking him to his own wing of the Captain America Museum, with him and his unit being immortalized in a completely separate part of the museum. I thought that was cool, because he said not only am I going to show you that I can do this, I'm going to get you the recognition that you deserve. So
and he talks about him like he's dead too, because he didn't want to, quote, come back to life.
Yes. Well, yeah, because you'd have to. Because doesn't he say he's like the only reason he's still alive is the Super Soldier Serum, because he's like super. Like, I'm shit with timelines, so I'm not even gonna pretend. But like,
the only reason he is still alive with the Super Soldier Serum is because a nurse forged his documents saying he was dead. But which I would say, you know, it was kind of a write-off to be like how, you know, he got out, how he's still here.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying just strictly based on his age.
You would think that if they perfected the Super Soldier Serum, and they're like, and then they kept this guy like, was essentially in jail.
They would investigate the hell out of him being dead.
Well, they would at least be like, well, we're keeping his dead body. We could still experiment on. We could still take samples with that.
No, but what I meant more so is like they're talking about him like he's dead now because if he wasn't a super soldier, he would be dead just from age and whatnot.
Yes.
But
you do live longer when you have the super soldier serum.
I mean,
technically in the comics, Black Widow has a version of the super soldier. Basically, anyone that's like a normal ass human, with the exception of maybe Hawkeye, has a version.
If
of
they
a
do
super
some
soldier
bullshit
serum.
after Endgame where it's like, oh, we only thought she was dead, and she like hops up out of the grave and be like, remember those shots I got when I first joined S.H.I.E.L.D.? I guess they did the trick.
Yeah.
And we get like irradiated zombie Black Widow or some bullshit. No, we're not doing that because we're gonna get a new one introduced to us soon. And what's her name? Yelena Belova. I don't know what else is coming up.
I guess there's the Black Widow.
The Black Widow movie's coming out soon.
Yeah.
So we're getting new Black Widow. Hawkeye's coming up in a little while, so we're getting new Hawkeye. Ant-Man and the
I guess that's the one I'm looking forward to the most.
Which
Isn't
one?
there supposed to be a Hawkeye?
Yeah, it's him
TV
training.
series?
Yeah. That's going to be a TV series. Then we get the third Ant-Man movie, which is called Quantum Mania, apparently. Where it's going to be like the introduction of his daughter getting powers. So there you go. New Ant-Man-ish character, new Hawkeye, new Black Widow, new Captain America with Sam now. Bucky is still Bucky until I get what I want, and I want him to be the White Wolf, and it'll be fine. Spider-Man's going to do Spider-Man things. Spider-Man, the new movie, is apparently called No Way Home. So clearly it's going to be about him actually finding a way home. It's going to be weird in Spider-Verse-y, especially considering there's another Spider-Verse animated movie coming out.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to see how they do the Spider. We did a whole podcast on the potentials that are offered by the whole Spider-Verse movie. If you guys want to go back, I think I named it something super clever, like pulling the strings on all the Spider-Man rumors or some bullshit like that. But there's a lot, and on the other side of the coin, we've got more Batman stuff coming. And
here's the article on
Patriot.
Bradley's.
Patriot, which is Bradley's grandson or nephew?
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's his grandson, but by marriage.
Mm. Oh, and then we've got...
He did not actually have kids. He has to get a blood transfusion at one point. And coincidentally, Isaiah is the only one that has, his blood type.
Isn't that literally how She-Hulk becomes She-Hulk?
Yes.
Nice. Good to know we don't repeat ourselves. We forgot about Wiccan and Speed, because they're two new characters that are coming up soon.
Yes.
And we got the Eternals.
They have to bring them back from where the fuck ever they are.
Yeah. And we got the Eternals movie coming out. That's the other one I forgot about. Thor, Love and Thunder. Oh! What's his name? Oh, I can't think of his name now. That's really terrible. Talk for a second. I need to look something up.
Oh, okay. This is awkward.
I'm doing some wiki-goofoo now.
He's not as fast. I do wiki-goofoo while I'm talking, so...
Yeah. Well, you're better at it than I am, so talk.
Sorry. I mean, I'm trying to look up Young Avengers.
Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe is Zeus in the new Thor movie.
Oh, cool.
So Christian Bale and Russell Crowe are going to fight each other because Christian Bale is Gore the God Butcher.
I have yet to read anything about.
Well, I mean, the hint is in the name. He goes around killing gods, and Zeus is a god, and so Russell Crowe is basically doing a cameo appearance, and apparently it was a personal favor called in by Taika Waititi, if you believe the rumors in the news sheets and all that sort of thing. But it's kind of cool because I care about the third story in that movie. Like, obviously the first story is what's her name, Jane Foster becoming the new Thor, which will be interesting. I'm still not 100% on Natalie Portman Is it Natalie Portman?
Yes.
I'm still not 100% on wanting to see Natalie Portman in like fight scenes trying to be a badass, but I'm opening my mind a little bit. The second story is obviously going to be the Gore the God Butcher story, and if Russell Crowe's going to be involved in that, that's going to be awesome. My big curiosity and the thing that I'm looking forward to is Tessa Thompson's Valkyrie becoming King of Asgard. Like, that's the most appealing part of the story for me, because it's going to be King Valkyrie looking for her queen at that point, and I think that is such a cool element of the story. I think Tessa Thompson plays Valkyrie awesome. I think she's one of the best things in Ragnarok. And yeah, we have to wait a long time for that one because it's not coming for a while. But yeah, so we got lots of stuff to look forward to, lots of stuff to talk about. I think the next Marvel thing we'll be talking about actually is Black Widow, because Black Widow
Probably.
is the next thing coming out soon, which is, I think, it's going to close. I mean, Spider-Man was supposed to do this, but I think Black Widow is going to close the door finally on Stage 3, because it's the last Phase 3 adjacent thing, because it's before Endgame. So it feels like this long-waited, because we couldn't have any movies last year because, we were all suffering from the plague. So it feels like this long-standing last thread of Phase 3 that we still need to tie up before we hop fully into Phase 4. But I'm looking forward to it, and it's going to be good, and we're going to meet new characters. And we will be here doing what we do. I'm out of stuff to talk about. We got an hour out of me having no notes for once, so maybe no notes is the thing. Tell them where to find you.
You could find me on Instagram at Black Cat Feline, where I haven't posted in forever. Same with Twitter.
Where she'll tweet at you, but probably not me, because I suck. Anyways, and you guys know where to find me, or you wouldn't be here. I've been Christian. Sorry, fucking I did it again. I'm tired.
No,
I've been
you
Spaz.
aren't. You have not been Christian.
I've been Spaz. She's been Christian. It's very, very tired in here. This has been Flix Fix. Subscribe up there. Talk down there. Start a conversation. Keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. We will talk to each and every last one of you later. But for right now, I'm very tired. She's laughing at me, and we are tagging out. Bye, guys.
Bye.